Fans, welcome to today's home contest between the Pacific Tigers and your Portland Pilots. Today is senior day here on the Bluff, so before today's game, we'd like to honor our senior student athletes. But before we begin, we'd also like to recognize the two seniors traveling today with the Pacific Tigers. From Lehi, Utah, number 0, Cassidy Johnson. And from Perth, Australia, number 30, Sam Ashby. Now to celebrate your Portland seniors. Our first senior, joined by her parents Paul and Tammy and her brothers Casey and Tyler, has been with the Pilots since the 2019-20 season, the year the Pilots won their first WCC tournament championship since 1994. She's played in 86 career games for the Pilots and scored a career-high 12 points against Evergreen State earlier this season. She'll graduate this spring with a degree in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, from Seattle, Washington, number 32, Kelsey Lindsay. Joined by her mother, Anita, our next senior also played a critical role on that WCC tournament winning team, having earned all WCC freshman team honors that season. This senior has played in 111 career games with 40 starts and ranks in the top 20 in Pilot history in both defensive rebounds and three-point field goals made. She'll graduate this spring with a degree in organizational communication. Ladies and gentlemen, from Melbourne, Australia, number 2, Keely Frawley. Joined by her parents, Fala and Julie, our next senior has been with the team since the 2018-19 season. She has played 112 career games with the Pilots, set a career high for points this season with 21 against Santa Clara, and ranks in the top 5 on the team this year in total points, rebounds, and steals. She is currently pursuing a master's degree in business administration and will graduate this summer. Ladies and gentlemen, from Salt Lake City, Utah, number 23, Liana Kaitu'u. Joined by her parents, Pauline and Shane, our next senior put together a storied career here on the Bluff as one of the best point guards in program history. She was a 4-time All-WCC honoree, including first team selection back in the 2020-21 season. She hit the crucial game-winning shots against both Gonzaga and San Diego to lead Portland to a magical WCC tournament championship. She ranked second all-time in UP history in career assists with 593 and set the single game record earlier this year for assists with 14. She will graduate this spring with a degree in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, from Townsville, Australia, number 10, Haley Andrews. Last but not least, joined by her parents, John and Holly, our final senior has also left an indelible mark during her 4 years on the Bluff. She is a 3-time All-WCC first-team honoree, a former WCC Newcomer of the Year, and the WCC Tournament MVP from back in the 2019-20 season. She is both the all-time leading scorer and leading rebounder in the Pilots Division I history and reached the coveted 2,000 point mark earlier this year, becoming just the second Pilot to ever do so. She will graduate this spring with a degree in organizational communication. Ladies and gentlemen, from Townsville, Australia, number 12, Alex Fowler. Let's hear it one more time for your Portland seniors.
It's a special day on the Bluff in North Portland as we celebrate graduation day for 5 players before today's final home game of the season as the Portland Pilots host the Pacific Tigers. We welcome you inside the Chiles Center. I'm Brian Slike, joined by former coach and Gonzaga Bulldog Jennifer Mountain, and we've got your call today. Portland comes into today already clinching the 2 seed at the WCC tournament, but they still look to finish this season strong, Jen. Meanwhile, Pacific on the other end, they've been a threat in conference over the last few weeks, winning 5 of their last 6, and we've got what could be an exciting home finale between these two.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. Like you said, Pacific is playing at a really high level. They're healthy. And really, you know, for Portland, yes, they've got themselves into that semifinal on Monday with the double bye, but they're playing for something a little bit bigger here, and it's a possible chance at that conference title. You know, the next 3 games, you never know what's going to happen. People moving up and down in the standings, but the special day for a lot of seniors or graduating seniors today for the Pilots, and you always want to leave this one with a win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, you talked about the surge by the Tigers. They've been led by junior guard Liz Smith, and she's been the catalyst for this team all season.
Yeah, Pacific's leading scorer. She's shooting 42% from the 3-point line, and that's in the top 5 in our conference right now. Scored in double figures the last 11 out of 12 games. She's been a huge part of their success. The Tigers are going to need a big effort from her today.
Well, Pacific's surge through the WCC lately has set them up to make up some ground in the tournament. How do they get the win today?
Well, number 1, they have to handle the pressure. Portland's going to come at you. Taking care of the basketball, especially live ball turnovers, will be huge. They need balanced scoring. They have multiple people that can really score the basketball. They need it today, and then rebounding will be a huge factor.
Well, the Pilots lost Haley Andrews, but the team has been completely different since Lucy Cochran has come back into the starting lineup, and she's been a difference maker.
Oh, yeah. Rim protector at the highest level. You know, she leads the WCC in overall blocks, even being out a month. So, you know, she's getting back into her groove, a lot more minutes, adds a ton to this Pilot defense, and she's a terrific passer. Look for her to be a big factor on both ends of the floor.
Portland is looking for the season sweep over Pacific. How do they get the win today?
They need to limit Pacific's 3-point attempts, and then really tough with their entry passes, limit transition and second chance opportunities, and then again, rebounding I think will be a big factor offensively and defensively tonight.
Well, it's a day for celebration on the Bluff. You won't want to go anywhere. We've got an opening tip and lineups when we return. Well, it's a beautiful day on the Bluff for graduation day as we just celebrated the 5 seniors inside the Chiles Center. We're about ready to give you the starting lineups for both sides. Let's give it to them right now. For Pacific, it's going to be Diamond Richardson, Liz Smith, Sam Ashby, Madeline Ennis, and then Elizabeth Elliott also goes by Liz. For the Pilots, it's going to be Kelsey Lindsay, Keely Frawley, Alex Fowler, Liana Kaitu, and that's not a mistake. You see Haley Andrews in there at the top of that lineup there, Jennifer.
Yeah, really special. You know, they're going to actually allow her to get the tip and recognize her so that the fans can send her out with a big bang here. But either that or it's the fastest recovery from surgery that I've ever seen in my life.
In 1 week, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, this is a special moment inside the Child Centers. You see Haley just introduced right there, and let me tell you, it's been a tough few weeks for her, and it's nice to see that she's going to be getting some recognition here on what is considered senior day here on the Bluff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, ultimate career here. You just hate to see somebody go out in that fashion. But she's got some basketball left in her, and
Absolutely.
you know, she'll rehab here for the second time and hopefully have a little bit of a pro career coming up here in a short time.
Yeah, on graduation day, they're honoring two of probably the most prolific players that the Pilots have seen in quite a long time, in Haley Andrews and Alex Fowler, both represented today, along with Liana Kaitu, Keely Frawley, and then Kelsey Lindsay as well, as she's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, special group. I mean, you look at all the, obviously, the types of players, but really it's more of the whole culture. They kind of transformed this whole program back. And it's just special. I mean, senior day is hard, you know, because it's the last time you're going to play in front of your home fans. But you got to treat it as just another game. But really cool, you know, that Pacific's going to allow this to happen for Andrews, and she's in the middle of taking her earrings off because she forgot.
You can't wear those during the game.
Start with them.
Oh. All right, so the Pilots are in black, Portland in white across the chest, Pacific in orange, with Pacific in white across the chest. It's the opening tip. Won by the Pilots, and it's Haley Andrews with it, and a travel call. And they'll give her her moment as she comes off the court, and you see it's hard to hold it together right now for her. Special moment, a special career with teammates that she spent so much time in the gym with. And she's going to get a standing ovation from this crowd, and it's deserved.
Well deserved, and just even a better kid more than anything. And, you know, she's kind of taking on that semi-coach role right now and really just being there for her teammates. And just a terrific, terrific player. And we wish her the best, obviously, in that rehab process. And hopefully we'll see her down the road in a pro career.
Yeah. Emmy Shearer comes in to replace Andrews after the standing ovation as we begin play here. Richardson gets the pass inside by Kaitu and rattles it home for the first bucket today.
Well, I mean, that was just sheer determination there by Richardson making that play right there. And we're going to see both teams, like you mentioned, Pacific playing really well, winning their last 5 out of 6 games. And there's Kaitu going right to the rim.
Pilots passing it around in tight quarters. Strong off the glass right there. Rebound for Pacific. The Tigers this season, it's been a revamp for them from previous years. Last year they finished 8th in rebounding on the season. This year they're 2nd. The different front court for them, and we've talked about it a couple of times, but they've really come alive here as of late in this season as Kaitu the touch off the glass.
Well, I'll tell you, that's exactly what they need her to do, because there's so many people that are coming in and double and triple teaming Alex Fowler. Nice job of, you know, high post drive and a good finish with the contact. She had a good game the other night.
Ashby,
nice pass.
Pass inside to Elliott, and it's blocked by Kaitu, and she recovers it. Kaitu came up with some nice plays against St. Mary's in that come-from-behind victory as the Pilots are trailing at halftime, and Alex Fowler with the bucket underneath, her first points.
Well, nice job of just a little up and under move there. Again, she's just so much physicality inside.
Ashby trying to go around the defender. She gets fouled. She'll head to the line. Foul will be on, it looks like it's on Alex Fowler. That'll be her first, team's first. As Lucy Cochran will check in. And I think they made the wrong call. I think it should have been on Kai too, and they just corrected it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't think foul was necessarily there.
Alex was like, I wasn't even in the play.
Yeah. So it's Kai Tu'u with the foul. Kai Tu'u will go to the bench now. Cochran on the floor.
Well, Kai Tu'u, I mean, we mentioned the other night, had a great performance, and that's exactly what Mike Meek needs, is people off the bench coming in and producing, and obviously with the start today, but she's going to play that role moving forward here of needing, you know, productive people contributing in all areas, and she's really done a nice job in the last few weeks.
Full court pickup for Pacific. Pass almost taken away by Smith. Pilots slow things down, under 15 on the shot clock. Cochran at the elbow, and I think it's going to be Ennis called for the foul on Fowler. And it will be, that'll be her first, team's first.
Well, Fowler doing a great job of trying to duck in, and just a little, again, too physical down low. They get the call.
Baseline out of bounds play, Shearer off the mark. Couple of tough shots for her off the glass that haven't gone.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good look. I mean, great execution out of that, a bounce play. Just a little bit tight. I feel like she's kind of pressing in the last couple games here. So athletic.
Smith trying to create something for the Tigers. Over to the corner to Ashby. Off iron, rebound by Frawley. Pilots pushing tempo right now. Up the court, it's Lindsay. Fowler was out of bounds for a second. She was getting pushed around. Her three-point opportunity short.
Well, I'll tell you, she gets everybody's, you know, toughest defender, double teams. Nice take, and then again, a nice block by Cochran coming over. Her timing, they've got numbers.
Cochran just needs 5 more blocks to move in to 4th place all-time in program history. Frawley up with the 3, hits front iron. Pacific struggling as of late. They have not hit any shots in the last 3 minutes. They're 0 for the last 4.
Well, credit Portland's defense and pressure.
Ashby with the jump stop, and it'll be one and done for the Tigers.
Well, and Portland doing a great job on the defensive boards.
And a foul called on Ennis. That'll be her second, as Kelsey Lindsay will head to the line, the senior from Seattle, Washington.
You know, their starting lineup today was, you know, basically starting the seniors as we see that take right there and the chance to go to the free throw line. And, you know, maybe not just in their normal flow offensively, but we're going to get some subs here in the next little bit, change it back up.
Yeah, Cecilia Holmberg and Katie Deaton now on the court for Pacific. For the Pilots, Maisie Burnham, MJ Bruno are now on the court. Mikkel Meek waiting at the scores table. She'll come in for Lindsay after these free throws.
And Mikkel Meek has just been terrific.
She's really come on strong, especially after the injury to Haley Andrews during that Gonzaga game in this building. I mean, she's stepped up both offensively. She's grabbing rebounds, which we love to see. We're used to seeing it from Haley.
Yeah.
And so seeing that extra bit of effort from the guard play, it's something that last year when Haley went down, the Pilots sort of struggled trying to figure out who's going to bring the ball up, who's going to run this offense. And this season, they seem to figure it out.
Yeah, I think she's played, you know, really solid. She's shooting the ball really well. She's very comfortable running the show.
Smith drives by Cochran, and a blocking foul called on Burnham. I think she was just inside that restricted area. And that'll be Burnham's first foul, the second foul on the Pilots.
Yeah, her feet must have been in the circle because I felt like she was there in plenty of time.
Oh yeah, clearly inside that restricted area.
Easy call.
So Liz Smith, the junior from Dallas, Texas, the leading scorer for this Tigers team, hits the first free throw. She shoots at 81.3%. She's 4th in the conference in free throws and free throw percentage. Dangerous scorer for this Tigers club. And she goes 2 for 2 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, really has that scorer's mentality, can really stroke it. Playing really good right now.
Yeah, she scored 10+ points in 7 straight games for the Tigers. And that tells you how big she is for this team, especially when they've won 5 of their last 6. Ball goes through the hands of Meek. And I think Meek is going to get called for the foul now.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. It was a 50-50 ball, kind of both teams, or both players going for the loose ball right there. Both teams really struggling right now.
Yep.
No field goals for Pacific in almost 4 minutes, and for Portland, just a little bit over 2.5 minutes without a bucket. We talked about this the other night, in the fact of just, as WCC play is coming to an end, the shorter droughts you can have, the better, just to have quality possessions.
I mean, we've been a part of quite a few games where you have droughts going 7 or 8 minutes without scoring. And you're never going to have any success when that's going that way for you. Deaton gives it up to Ashby, the second leading scorer for the Tigers, tries to get a spin move and call for the travel.
A little too quick there. First turnover for the game for Pacific.
Yep.
Number 12, Alex Fowler.
Fowler back in. Burnham will go to the bench.
Well, she had a terrific game the other night.
Yeah, Burnham.
Yeah, it's career high the other night.
I believe she had 29 points in that game. New season high for free throws made as well. I mean, just a spectacular performance, and Pilots needed every bit of that. She was the only one to make a three-point field goal in that game for Portland. Fowler in trouble, triple team, somehow got it up, and Bruno goes up for the rebound. It's going to be called a jump ball in favor of Pacific.
Well, Bruno doing a great job coming from that weak side, mixing it up on the boards. You see Fowler again.
She's beyond the three-point line right there. You see her crashing in.
Well, just a great job of anticipating that ball coming off and getting a chance to get a hand on it.
Full court pressure put on by the Pilots. Deflected by Shearer. Anaya James is in trouble near the baseline, and a timeout called by Pacific to retain possession.
Well, good timeout by Bradley Davis to not turn that basketball over right there.
And they needed it. 5:03 left to go in the first quarter. Pacific is leading 6-4 right now in this matchup. We'll be right back from the Child Center on the WCC Network. Welcome back inside the Child Center. Brian Slack, Jennifer Mountain, and take a look at those shoes. Pretty nifty right there.
I love them. I can't believe he's wearing them, but I love them.
We don't see that type of flair from Coach Meek very often. Coach Meek going for his 75th career victory for the Pilots today. He's got 74 in his career as the head coach for Portland.
Just done a terrific job ever since he set foot on campus, and this program, the culture, the type of student athletes, just a terrific job.
I think it really says something. The amount of success that they had in that first season, you could really tell how much he changed this program around. The kids bought in right away, which I think is a big deal, especially in your first season. And I mean, they were picked to finish 10th, and then they ended up winning the WCC tournament.
That's not a bad first year.
Almost a turnover, give up, and the basket goes for Sydney Ward, the freshman from Houston, Texas.
Well, good job by the Tigers of attacking the press, getting a transition bucket.
That's their first bucket in nearly 5 minutes. Cochran the pass to Fowler, crashing and gets the basket. That ends a 6-0 run for the Tigers.
Well, the dynamic duo of those two, they are such terrific passers.
First points for the Pilots in almost 4 minutes. Deaton gives it up. Now it's Ashby going up against Fowler. And Ashby again will get a basket. She's got 4 points.
Well, a nice take to the paint, and right now Portland not really putting too much pressure on the ball, allowing the Tigers to get to the paint. And whenever that happens, good things happen offensively for you.
Fowler lost the defender, and they're going to call a charge. That was a late call right there, it looked like. So that one will be Fowler's first, and that'll be the team's 4th. And I don't know. If
Really
you're going to call it,
late
I thought you
call.
were going to call that earlier.
Yeah, really, really late call.
I mean, she basically called it after she faced the basket again.
And yeah, I mean, it was a very delayed whistle there.
All right, so it's Anaya James going through the press of the Pilots. Cross-court pass to Deaton. Deaton goes off the glass, but she gets fouled. She'll head to the line.
It's an offensive foul, I believe.
And it is an offensive foul, you are correct. So Deaton called for that one. The transfer from North Dakota State. And then Liz Smith comes back into the game, Deaton to the bench. And same with Liz Elliott, who comes in. Sydney Ward will head to the bench for Pacific. Full court pressure for the Tigers. It seems like there's been a couple of plays where we're trying to figure things out.
Pacific fouls the number 1, Katie Deaton, her first.
We're trying to figure out who the foul was on.
Making sure they had it on the right person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a little bit of a slow start here for the Pilots offensively. We saw this the other night as well. A team that does a great job of making adjustments.
Shearer near the block. Smith on defense. Meek with it. 5 on the shot clock. Shearer lost it, and we got a foul called. And I think that's going to be on Liz Smith. If it is, that'll be her first, the team's 4th. So we've got a little under 3.5 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Next foul is going to put you on the line for 2, either side. Both teams have 4 personal fouls.
It's been physical and a little bit of ticky-tack, and we're gonna get an offensive foul.
It's going to be on Bruno. And right now, there's really no flow to this game. A lot of fouls being called, so now 5 team fouls on Portland. And another turnover.
You're absolutely right. I mean, neither team can get into any type of rhythm.
Holmberg lost it. Bruno with the steal. Pilots briefly have numbers. Gives it up to Shearer. Back pass to Lindsay. The 3 goes up in transition and off front iron. Good
look for Lindsay, though. Love that little come behind in transition. And
Pilots fighting for it. Loose ball. Ashby hits the deck.
Good hustle.
And that pass goes out of bounds. And they're going to say it's off of Portland. And now you're hearing the fans give it to the referees. And they changed the call. It's Pilot basketball.
Yeah, she just put her hand the wrong way, and everybody let her know real fast.
Well, it's nice to hear some life inside the Child Center, though. The fans backing up the team here on Senior Day.
Yeah, there's a nice crowd here today. Doubleheader day.
And Liz Smith just quickly got called for her 2nd. And that could be troublesome for the Tigers. Their leading scorer and playmaker now has to sit out with 2 fouls with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's a big foul right there. But both coaches not very happy with how the game is being called right now.
I mean, we're talking 10 fouls here in 7.5 minutes.
Yeah.
As Bruno goes to the line. Bruno, a sophomore from Spokane, Washington. It's the first free throw. And 16.7% on the season.
Well, she just continues to work and get better and better, and has come in and gives them different, like a different look. I mean, defensively, she's all over the place. She rebounds, uses her length.
And you see her right there, trying to get in front of Anaya James.
And that's not easy. James is a really good ball handler as she goes to the ground.
Holmberg tries to get the step through in the paint. No good. Ball still loose. Two Tigers going for it.
We have a jump ball.
And I don't think a Pilot had a hand on it, but it'll be Pilot basketball right there.
I think Bruno got her hand in there late. But again, once again, that's what she does. She goes in and she mixes it up. Plays with a lot of emotion, passion, plays really hard.
The Tigers now have 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes. Pilots have not had a field goal in almost 2.5 minutes, but they got the free throws from Bruno the last time down. Burnham spins inside, using the glass for 2.
Well, the thing about this Portland squad, they have so many long guards where there's a great example of being able to post up your guard and have success.
James has an open lane, takes it all the way, and no, it goes off the lip of the rim. Lindsay past Richardson. And now they'll slow things down. Cochran going up against Elliott. Too much on that one. It'll be one and done for the Pilots.
That's a good look for Cochran. She's got that nice little jump hook.
Ashby inside, blocked by Cochran, her second block.
Well, you love to see that because, again, she's just getting comfortable being back in the lineup.
Frawley had it poked away, ball on the ground. Burnham's there to pick it up. And it'll be rebound by Ashby. Final minute here in the first quarter. Richardson around Lindsay, too strong off the glass, and a Pilot rebound.
Oh.
Bad pass, and they're fortunate that James didn't take it away from Bruno, and it's poked away over to Lindsay.
Right now, a lot of physical play, turnovers, a little bit sloppy, not a lot of flow.
Both teams struggling from the field. Pacific right now just 3 of 12, Portland 4 of 13. Burnham trying to get some space around Ashby, can't get the touch, off back iron. And just about a second between game clock and shot clock. In fact, the game clock is faster than the shot clock right now.
Very low scoring first quarter, that is for sure.
Pacific just 2 of their last 11 have not scored in almost 4 minutes. And that drought will continue into the second quarter as Frawley gets the rebound. And that'll be the end of the first quarter, a 10-10 tie. As both teams struggling to put the ball in the basket. Couple turnovers, no real flow between these two in that first quarter. We'll see if they can pick it up in the second when we return on the WCC Network. Here's a look at Bradley Davis, the 8th-year head coach for the University of Pacific. Just eclipsed the 100-win mark as a head coach with their win over LMU earlier this season. Just the 3rd Pacific coach to reach 100 wins in school history. And Jen, you've got a relationship with him, and well-rounded coach, great guy, and you like to see him have the success with his team this season.
Absolutely. You know, he was a longtime assistant there with Lynn Roberts, and you know, so much of success right now is on the health of your players, and he does a great job. He's really good X and O coach, and just a great guy, like you said.
Kai Tu'u back on the court, puts up a 3. Goes off. Ashby with another rebound.
Well, neither team has hit a 3-point shot as of right now in the game.
0 for 4 combined. Elliott drives in for the easier shot, uses the body of Kai Tu'u, but no foul called. And I think they're going to call this one on Richardson, and they are. That'll be Diamond Richardson's first, the team's first of this quarter. And the fouls just continue.
Back into the Tigers.
Well, the officials kind of met together in that little break right there and talked some things over. And, you know, again, this is a very physical game, and they're, I think, really trying to tame that down and keep it as clean as possible.
Meek with a spin move to get by Richardson, the hezzy, and blocked by Sydney Ward, and it lands on Meek as she goes out of bounds. It'll be Tiger basketball.
Oh, great block by Ward, and then again, it's unfortunate it landed on her head going out of bounds. Ball goes back to the Tigers, but again, both teams just really struggling offensively to get good looks.
Combined 8 for 31 from the field between these two teams right now. 0 for 5 from behind the arc. Ozzie on Ozzie, and Ashby can't finish. A rebound for Fowler. Burnham running the court, has James in front of her. Fowler on the block, triple teamed, and hit the bottom of the backboard. And Richardson ends up with a rebound.
Ooh.
Fowler's hurting, she's slow to get up. It's numbers for the Tigers, Holmberg. Pass across the paint to Ward, and somehow the Tigers end up with no points on that possession. They had numbers that entire time.
Numbers and just crazy transition back and forth. We got bodies flying all over the place.
Meek is wanting something called right there. I mean, both coaches, like you said, have had some words for the referees about the physicality of this game. Kai Tu'u near the elbow. Shearer fighting against Ashby. 3 seconds called on Shearer. Another turnover for Portland. That's their 4th.
That's a good call, actually. She was in there for quite a while battling, and ball goes in, and she's got to go straight up with that, just make a quicker move.
So Nia James, a sophomore from Inglewood, California, leading the offense right now for Pacific.
Yeah, she was out for about 3 weeks with a little bit of a shoulder issue. Coming back, and she's a huge part of their success. Really athletic, get to the rim.
Well, she's 2nd in the conference in assists per game, 5th in total assists. I mean, she's just a facilitator for this offense. You see Liz Smith trying to set some things up, but James does it just as well. And a foul called on Richardson, so that'll be her 2nd.
Diamond Richardson, her 2nd.
Team 2nd in this quarter.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier, there's just no flow because literally there is a stoppage every single time down the floor right now. You know, that part of it is players have to adjust to how the game is being called.
Somewhere along the line, they're going to have to be a tad less physical.
Absolutely.
Richardson coming all the way out beyond the 3-point line to meet Meek. And the pass inside to Burnham. I don't think she ever had a chance with that lob.
No, and it's the right thing. Like, it's the right play. If they just execute that pass right there, that's 2 points. And that's their 5th turnover of the game.
And the pass to Richardson off of her hand. She's able to corral it near the corner. Push off on Meek. No look pass to James.
Oh, good pass.
Across the paint to Ward, and the basket for the Tigers. They take a 4-point lead, and that ends a 2-minute scoring drought. I mean, you look at who's on the floor right now. You've got 2 sophomores, a freshman and a junior. And then you got Ashby as the lone senior on the floor. And they're calling 3 seconds again on the Pilots. So that's twice now in the last couple of possessions they've been nicked for that.
Well, they're trying to post up their guards, which is a smart thing. They just have to do it a little bit quicker, or they've got to get out and recognize and reestablish position. But, you know, to kind of go back to your point about Pacific, they are a very young basketball team. A lot of youth. They're getting better. They're healthy, and you know, a lot of WCC tournament is just momentum. And you know, 5 out of the last 6 in the loss to Gonzaga. So I mean, they're playing some very quality basketball right now. Both teams just really struggling. 24% for the Pilots, 26% for the Tigers from the field.
And you want to talk about that loss to Gonzaga, too. It was not even a bad loss. They were within 10 for a lot of that game. I think they lost by 12, which, I mean, a loss is a loss, but it's a quality one against that type of caliber of a team. And they're going to call a foul on Fowler. That'll be her second, team's first of this quarter. And here's another look at that last play.
That's tough.
That is a tough one. You see her shifting over, but you also see the shoulder drop.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and that's her second foul.
And so she's going to go to the bench. Cochran now in the game for Portland. Richardson, a sophomore from Sacramento, California, knocks down the first free throw. She shoots nearly 80%, 79.3%. Richardson, one of the key reserves for the Tigers. Talk about the quickness of the guard play for them. And when she comes off the bench, you think you might get a breather, but man, she can blow right by you.
Yeah, and right now, Portland not doing a good job of keeping them out of the paint.
Pressure put on by the Tigers, full court. Hesitation from Shear, great pass around the defender to Cochran, easy basket. And that's the first points in this quarter for Portland. It took them nearly 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, good job of attacking the pressure. Nice tempo. Shear making a good decision there.
Deaton lost it. Meeks on the floor, gives it up to Cochran. That's another steal. Crowley up to Burnham. Took her eyes off of it momentarily, picks up her dribble. Plenty of time. 16 on the shot clock. Shearer driving, beats the freshman.
Well, I'd like to see Shearer get involved offensively again. Such a weapon. Has struggled a little bit in the last few weeks with scoring the basketball, but she just does so much for this club, and you'd love to see her have some success.
3 put up by Deaton. Both teams right now finding success in the paint. The 3 put up by Shearer knocks it down. 5 points for Shearer, and the first 3-point bucket in today's game.
Well, great job in transition of finding her in nice rhythm from Shearer, and an easy look for the 3.
Holmberg long on the baseline jumper. Pilots look to extend this 7-0 run over the last minute 15.
3 of their last 3 from the field make it 4. Nope.
Off front iron, an open shot for Meek. Normally you don't want to leave her that wide open.
You're absolutely right, especially as of late.
One of the hottest shooters, and another block for Cochran. That's 3 in this game.
I think James got herself caught in the air. Knew Lucy was coming, but had to put it up.
At the skyscraper right in front of you, but it's the Pilots who have retaken a 1-point lead with a 7-0 run over the last minute 30. Thanks to Emmy Shearer, 5 points during that span. Here's the layup and a 3-pointer by her. And the Pilots lead by 1. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Shearer just knocked down that three-pointer before the break, and she's one of the most lethal three-point shooters in the conference this season. She's shooting over 40% from behind the three-point line. That's good for 4th in the conference this year. 5 points, 2 rebounds so far, about halfway through the second quarter.
Well, and she's just taking such quality shots and in good rhythm. And
that's one of the nice things about Shearer. Not a lot of forced shots out of her. You make a great point right there. Efficient with the shots that she goes up with. As another turnover for Pacific. That'll make 6 now on the night.
Portland on a 7-0 run in the last just under 2 minutes here. Getting into a little bit better flow, getting out, making things happen.
.13 on the shot clock. Ashby on Burnham. Picks up her dribble, gives it up to Lindsay. 6 on the shot clock now. Lindsay trying to get around the defender. Inside of Cochran. She has to put it up and partially blocked by Ward. And that'll be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, Portland got themselves too late in that shot clock right there. Lucy had to go up with it, couldn't make a combo move, and nice block.
So no field goals in the last few minutes for Pacific. We're on a scoring drought of almost 3 minutes. James pulls up from the elbow, and that'll end that drought.
A little bank shot there. Bank is open.
Saturday afternoon bank. Baseline jumper by Cochran. And good rebound right there by Elliott.
A little too quick, I think, in the offense. Shot that she certainly can hit, but...
Deaton pulls up for an easier shot. It's short, and a rebound by Bruno. And she'll retain that possession. And you want to talk about a kid who's made a great transition into the college game. For somebody who played at a smaller high school, as Cochran gets denied by the backboard. And an offensive foul called on Cochran. That'll be her first and the team's 3rd in this quarter. And going back to Bruno for a moment, this is somebody who, for her size, where she went to school, she was mainly playing post, a little bit of guard, but, she's really changed here. More of a guard role, and you see how she takes the ball up the court, a lot more comfortable with the ball in her hand now, and you like to see that.
Yeah, her game is definitely developing and changing. She played inside a lot in high school, but her three-point shot, I mean, she's in here every game shooting ahead of time and certainly getting a lot more comfortable. But again, it's her hustle, it's her strength, the ability to defend the ball.
Elliott made that last shot, her first basket of the day. 1 for 5 for 2 points so far. Bruno drives, kicks it to Cochran. Inside to Burnham, a lot of movement for this offense. They whip it around. Lindsay, the 3 opportunity, rattles out.
Good extra pass there by the Pilots and a good look, just didn't knock it down.
And that looked like a travel. It was on Erica Adams, the junior.
And that was all Keely Frawley right there.
That's what she does. I mean, it's the defensive pressure that she puts on will cause fits for the opposing team.
Yeah, and she just kind of bluffed at it for a second and just enough to cause her to take an extra step there.
Senior making another nice play. Something that doesn't show up in the stat sheet for her, but we've noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Lindsay against Adams, over to Cochran. Shearer's going to cut into the paint. Around Ashby, and the touch off the glass.
Great curl cut there by Shearer and a great finish.
That ends nearly a 3-minute drought for Portland. And a steal by Lindsay. Frawley to Bruno and off the hands. She's able to keep possession. Cochran gets fouled and they blow the whistle. She'll head to the line. That's called on Liz Elliott. That'll be her first. And the 13th foul of this quarter. Another look at that last one. I mean, you could have called that one on James as she was getting that pass. Even on Ashby, she got mauled.
Well, I feel like Portland's post, every time they touch the basketball, they're getting bodied up a little bit. And
Cochran, the junior transfer from Oregon, originally from Melbourne, Australia, makes both free throws this time around. Kai Tu'u checks in, Cochran to the bench. And inbound blocked by Ward. That's her second block.
I'll tell you, Pacific very scrappy, making a lot happen, making Portland take tougher shots.
And it'll stay with the Tigers. The Tigers with 3 turnovers in the last minute 15. And yet they only trail by 1.
Yeah, both teams, again, a little sloppy. 17 between the two of them. There's another one.
Great steal by Bruno right there on the inbound pass. Shearer in the paint. Found Kai-Tu across the way. Spin inside. And the easy deuce. Kai-Tu with 4.
Those are the turnovers right there that kill you. Live ball turnover leads to a transition bucket and an easy look.
So 3-point lead for the Pilots. This is their largest lead that they've had in today's game. Double team by the Pilots, and a steal by Frawley. Lead pass to Meek. And Bruno beats Ward.
Well, Portland's got 12 points off of Pacific's turnovers.
And Adams, a spin move to get the defender to go by, and a rebound by Kai-Tu. Final minute of play here in the first half. 8-0 run over the last 90 seconds. Can it be an 11-0 run? It can! Shearer!
Well, Shearer's got 10 points, really almost all in this quarter for the most part, just absolutely coming alive.
Pacific has had trouble holding on to the ball. 5 turnovers now in the last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, 11-0 run here by the Pilots.
Elliott squares up over Kai-Tu, and the dart goes off iron. 12 seconds left in the half. Meek slowing things down, calls out the offense. 5 seconds left. Just gonna have to make a move. 2, 1, gotta put it up fast, and denied by Anaya James, and the block on Shearer, and tough play for her with the clock going down. James able to time that one up, but it's an 8-point lead for the Pilots as they end the half on an 11-0 run in the final 2:15.
Well, and really they fueled all that by their defense, making things happen, turned Pacific over and got easy transition buckets, and Shearer with a great quarter.
28-20 as we head to halftime on the WCC Network. It's the defense that's turned to offense for the Pilots. We'll be back with first half stats and highlights.
competitions.
Driven by mission.
Transformed by learning and serving.
We are
innovators,
Researchers. Explorers.
Change makers.
And playmakers.
Because that's what being a pilot is all about.
This is Maria Banks with CCCU. She has a first-time homebuyer savings account and a dog named Dave. She plays pickup soccer. She's about to get a mortgage and loves listening to music. She's just the kind of member that can take advantage of everything CCCU has to offer.
And I just like what credit unions stand for.
From customer to customized. Bank locally, live simply. With CCCU.
Some people might call it a job. I call it a mission, helping people get back on their way. When you're a roadside technician for AAA, every day is different. We're always ready to be there for you when your call comes in. I love seeing that smile on a member's face when you get them rolling again. It makes you feel good. At the end of the day, it's all about helping people. That's what keeps me going.
Even when I was little, just growing up, I knew I wanted to play in college.
I've kind of always just wanted to go here, so I'd come out to the games and like sit in the stands and see them, and like I genuinely believed that I could be one of them.
Being on the court felt like nothing else mattered.
I just thought it was fun.
I've always been not the most athletic, not the tallest, not the skinniest.
I know what it's like to feel like you can't do it, but you really can.
I play to prove others wrong.
Go, Goose, go! Choose your prize!
I find purpose in making the people who supported me proud.
Trust that all the hard work you've put in is going to pay off. Go out there and try to prove each and every person wrong that's ever doubted you.
Running a race is one of the most physically and mentally challenging things, but crossing that finish line, that feeling just can't be matched.
Competing feels like I'm on top of the world.
All it takes is one conversation.
I'm just proud of their team performance.
All it takes is one opportunity to be successful.
Pick 10, they're in the championship round. Like, what can you tell me? I mean, what a celebration to have.
Being in the stands as a little girl and now being on the court, being able to represent myself and the game and University of Portland.
I used to see myself as just a basketball player. Now I see myself as a role model.
Here's to the next gen.
back onto the campus of the University of Portland as we're inside the Chiles Center for game one of our doubleheader today between the Portland Pilots and the Pacific Tigers. It's graduation day here on the Bluff as we're about 3 minutes away from starting the second half between these two teams. And Jen, just a quick recap in that first half. A lot of fouls, not really a lot of continuity with the play, not a lot of flow with it, and so sort of an ugly first half. Only 28-20 here. A lot of turnovers between these two teams.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. 11 turnovers for Pacific in that half. They only averaged 16, but poor shooting by both clubs. Really, that last minute and a half, fueled by their defense, Portland made things happen, got some transition buckets, and led by Shear in that quarter. Yep. She was absolutely terrific. She's got 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and doing it in a variety of different ways. But, look for adjustments. Portland really has done a nice job of making adjustments at halftime and making a push in that third quarter. So let's see if they can repeat today.
What are some of the adjustments that you would make at halftime in this game specifically?
Well, number one, I think they'll go back to their normal starting lineup. Senior day, they started a different lineup. But adjust to the officials, how they're calling the game. That's got to be a topic of discussion in the half. But Alex Fowler should be back in the ball game. They've got to establish her early. She usually is very good in the second half. And I think quality looks, get a little bit better flow offensively, and then do what they did that later part of the half. Defensively and just making things happen.
And don't forget about some foul trouble too. Liz Smith only played 6 minutes for Pacific in that first half because she had 2 fouls.
Right. And if you're Portland, you go right at her so that you maybe put her on the bench again.
Tickets for today's game are also good for bleacher seating at the men's game that takes place 30 minutes after the end of this.
Well, you mentioned it a little bit ago, but the first half from Emmy Shear was huge for the Pilots. They struggled for a lot of that first half, making a few baskets. And again, you mentioned it, basically that final 90 seconds, 2 minutes of that second quarter, Shear exploded for almost 7 points and really put the Pilots up this 8 points that we see right now.
Well, absolutely. I mean, she took people off the bounce, hit a couple threes, and really, I think, fueled her offense by her defense and got some good looks. She always does a great job of curl cuts, getting to the rim, finishes around the rim so well. And again, just versatility is her game. She's so long and can score in so many different ways. Really hard to guard and a hard matchup for opponents.
Well, we talked to Coach Davis earlier this week, and he talked about how his team really needs to come together, play as a team. And you look at the stats right there, only 25% from the field. They're doing a good job rebounding, though, which is how they can get back into this game, get some offensive rebounds, get some putbacks, and they could be right back into this one.
Well, absolutely, and they have the firepower to do that. Again, struggling from the floor, and you got to credit Portland's defense and the pressure that they put on opponents every night out.
Yeah, half the points for Pacific have come from the paint. Now, it's a little bit skewed there down to the bench points because of senior day.
Yeah.
Different lineup. And Shearer has accounted for 10 of those coming off the bench as Elliott gets the shot to go over Kaitu'u.
Well, nice job of just establishing position down low and going right at Kaitu'u for the 2 points for Pacific. Good start.
I briefly talked about Liz Smith only playing for 6 minutes in that first half. She didn't even have an official shot. She made 2 free throws. Lindsay's shot goes off the rim, and it'll be 1 and done for the Pilots. Ennis, who's got 2 fouls, now going up against Shearer, short on that shot. Lindsay comes up with it.
Portland, for the most part, doing a nice job on the boards, evened up.
Fowler, who was fighting for position down low.
Well, that's what Alex Fowler does so well. She runs like a guard. She's a post player, gets to the paint, and finds somebody and just buries them right from the get-go. And if you're stuck behind, you're in trouble.
Ennis picks up her 3rd foul, so she's going to go to the bench. And Sydney Ward now on the floor. Now, we've talked about Alex Fowler for the last 3 years. I mean, she's a 3-time first-team All-WCC selection as Frawley pulls up for the mid-range, and she's got her first points.
Well, Fowler, in my opinion, should be the MVP of this conference. And, I mean, every single night out, she's getting doubled, tripled, handled physically. And she can score at all levels, and she plays right through it. And, I mean, the talent, her numbers, like she's top 10 in almost every category, and leads. I mean, points per game, total points, steals per game, field goal percentage, 60% from the floor. I mean, there's a list. I mean, free throw attempts, free throws made, you can keep going, and just a huge.
And trying to save it was Frawley.
Yep.
But I think you make a great point. I mean, you talked about her getting triple teamed, and she's still putting up almost 19 points per game.
Yeah. With Andrews going out, the pressure even, is jumped or amped up a little bit here. Just having to score.
I mean, she actually helps lead this team in assists as well because of how often she gets fed the ball, triple teamed, and she's able to kick it out.
Yeah, she does a terrific job of reading double teams. Makes the quick pass, quick decision, smart player. I mean, I can just keep going if you want me to, but just doing a nice job.
There's a lot to like about one of the all-time greats in a Pilot uniform. Ashby in trouble. The pass gets deflected by Lindsay. And it's a long road for anybody that's not part of Gonzaga or BYU to win the Player of the Year award. Just once in the last 16 seasons has somebody not from Gonzaga or BYU won the Player of the Year award, and that was back in 2019 by Pepperdine's Jasmine Robinson-Bacote.
I mean, pretty remarkable stat there. I mean, obviously those two programs having some great success, but you see how Portland has emerged,
Especially with the reign that Fowler has had in her. This is her 4th year. I mean, each year she's really made a name for herself. She's the former newcomer of the year in her freshman season, and she still continues to put up numbers.
Yeah, and in 2,000 points is a lot of points.
That's the most in the Division I era for the Pilots, and if she decides to come back, she has a chance to set the all-time scoring record at Portland, as there's a turnover by the Tigers.
Yeah, hasn't decided yet whether she's coming back or not, but I'm sure everybody in the conference would hope just to keep on graduating. Off you go. But I know that one of her big things is wanting to play in that NCAA tournament.
Yeah, something that this team was robbed of because of the COVID pandemic back in 2020 that prevented the tournament from being played the year that the Pilots won the WCC tournament. Pilots move it around, 7 on the shot clock. Shearer driving in, floater in the paint, and can't get it to go. Rebound, Fowler, and the putback is no good.
A little too quick on that one. Got to come down and re-establish position.
Ashby's pass brought in by Ward. Elliott backing down Kai Tu'u. She's in trouble, double teamed, and it's Liz Smith who comes up with it.
Good save.
Smith still looking for her first shot. No shots from the floor yet. Just 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Ward trying to spin for position around Frawley. 2 on the shot clock. Richardson puts up a 3 and an offensive rebound by Ashby.
Well, great hustle play by Ashby coming off that weak side for that offensive board. Second chance opportunity here. Ooh, nice up fake.
First shot for Smith, no good, and the scoring drought continues for Pacific. It's going past 3 minutes and 30 seconds now. Transition 3, Frawley hits it!
Well, she's got the ability to hit that. You see, again, most of her buckets are off hustle plays or this and that, but she can shoot the 3.
Yeah, people forget she was one of the most prolific three-point shooters coming out of Australia when she came to the Bluff. As a timeout called by Pacific, that'll send us to the media break. An 11-point lead for the Pilots. They lead 33-22, just under 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Welcome back inside the Child Center. Brian Slyke, Jennifer Mountain with your call. An 11-point lead right now for the Portland Pilots over the Pacific Tigers. In this WCC matchup, the final home game of the season for the Pilots.
Well, good hands by Mikkel Meek right there. And Portland, again, just going a little too fast. That happens a lot of times during the season. They create one and then they give it right back. But we're going to update the viewers just because there's so much movement going into this next few weeks here. GU defeats St. Mary's 65-51. USD over Santa Clara 69-62 in overtime. And USF defeats BYU 72-59. And LMU and Pep, it's a 4-point game at halftime right now. A lot of things can happen in this next, well, today and
about this next week, yeah. Ashby, the hesitation handoff to the glass, and looks like Cochran had the rebound, then she gets fouled. It's going to be on Deaton. That'll be her second.
Ashby's done a really nice job of creating with the ball, getting to the rim, breaking down the defense.
What? Ashby's the leading scorer right now for the Tigers. She has 6 points. As the Tigers continue to struggle shooting from the field. Burnham takes it all the way to the rack.
Well, a nice attack there from the wing spot. So good off the dribble.
And another block for Cochran. That's 4 now. And a jump ball called. It'll stay with the Tigers. Portland on a 7-0 run over the last 4 minutes. Pacific struggling. They haven't had a basket yet so far in the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Again, credit Portland's scrappy defense, making them take contested jumpers.
Ward almost had the step back 3. Bruno, suffocating defense, forces her to give it up. Holmberg, sort of fadeaway shot right there on the side of the paint. Rebound by Cochran. And there's some movement down by her feet, so you have to watch out. Sydney Ward seems to be in some pain right now in the paint. Foul will go against Holmberg. That'll be her first.
Well, it looks like she might have got popped in the face or in the nose.
Yeah, it looked like she was reaching for her face while she was on the ground. And we're going to take a media break at the moment, 35-22. A Portland Pilots lead right now with 4:44 left to go in the third quarter. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more action here inside the Child Center on the WCC Network. Suit action going on near the Pep Band as the Pilots lead 35-22 in the third quarter. Brian Slyke and Jennifer Mountain. And this game holds some significance right now for Pacific. There are just 4 teams right now in the middle of the standings in the West Coast Conference that really could be floating around over the next week, depending on how these games play out, Jennifer.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, this one here, depending on which way it goes for them, you know, literally puts them, there's, like you said, 4 teams, 1 game apart, playing for those buys or getting themselves in a tough or better seed going into the tournament. And a lot of teams playing each other next weekend as well. So a lot of movement can still happen.
And you really want at least one of those buys because it's a daunting task to try to play that very first round and try to make it all the way through the tournament. I mean, even how big is just one bye. That's what happened to the Pilots when they won the tournament back in 2020. They were fortunate to get a first-round bye, and they were able to turn that into a championship with that extra rest.
Right. Yeah, getting any type of situation where you get a day's rest and not having to go all the way through from day one is huge.
Fowler creates some space and gets a bucket. She now has 6 points.
Relatively quiet today. We, sat in that first half with some foul trouble, but we've seen her fill a stat sheet up real quick and can really get going.
Pass over near the corner. Now it's Holmberg with it on the block. Double teamed by Cochran. Gets it to James, puts up the 3, and that's the first one to go for the Tigers today. They have not had much luck from beyond the three-point line. They've only taken 6 shots, though.
And that's something that they're usually really good at, getting open looks. And again, credit Portland's defense of kind of taking them out of what they want.
And it looked like that was partially blocked. It'll stay with the Pilots.
A good job by Pacific right there. Kind of bluffed at the help side and stayed with. And Fowler wanted to pass that over to Cochran and didn't have it.
Tigers average about 5 threes per game, and Fowler gets fouled by Holmberg. The basket counts. Fowler heads to the line.
Great execution. Great execution there. Just kind of a delayed cut. You'll see it set it up by everybody clearing out that side. She comes from the high post and a nice finish.
Yeah, I also know Meek with the misdirection there. She was looking over to the left, sort of near the bench of Portland, and the no-look pass to Fowler. Gets the basket. She misses the free throw, though. Deaton, hesitation, gets around Fowler, finds Holmberg across the paint for the easy 2. Holmberg gets her first basket. Tigers just 2 of their last 10 from the field. Elliott in the face of Cochran. Fowler trying to get some space, and finally a whistle is blown. This one's going to be on Holmberg, so she's picked up 3 fouls here, all in this half. And the 5th team foul, which means Portland's going to head to the line now for 2 shots.
Well, you can see, I mean, they're just trying to not allow Fowler to cross the paint there to get position, but you've got to allow movement. You can see them both holding. It ends up being 2 people kind of holding, bumping her across the lane there.
Double armbar from Deaton to make sure she didn't get across. There, Fowler makes the first free throw.
I don't blame him.
No, not one bit. We talked about Burnham having 29 in the last game against St. Mary's, but Fowler still put up 19, which just put her above her seasonal average of 18.2 points per game. She has 10 points now after making both free throws. Full court pressure, Ward able to keep the dribble. Pass up the court to Elliott to beat.
Good decision there by Pacific. Almost a turnover in the backcourt there.
It looks like Bruno's going to be called for a foul. She will. That'll be her second. And the team's first foul here in the 3rd quarter. Deaton, shot fake inside. Back out to Ward near the corner.
Good closeout. Yeah, good closeout.
Freshman going up against the senior Fowler. Under 10 on the shot clock. James, another 3. Got it!
3-point basket by number 3. And now
2 for 2 from behind the arc now.
She doesn't need a lot of room. That was a great job of coming off that pick. Quick release, and there's, again, a lot of time left in this ball game, and they can get hot from the 3-point line.
Watch out, James now has 8 points as a turnover by the Pilots. That's their 12th of this game. Deaton pulls up from the free throw line and gets the friendly bounce.
Live turnovers just kill you sometimes, and there's a great example of one. Cochran kind of forced that pass inside, and Pacific read it and got a nice look at the other end.
Well, Pacific with 12 points off of 12 Portland turnovers. Cochran long on that shot. Rebound by Deaton and a foul by Bruno. That'll be her 3rd. And the team's 2nd in this quarter.
You love how aggressive MJ Bruno is. And sometimes she just gets going so fast and cannot stop. And right there, a little too physical.
It's almost sort of a bang-bang play right there. The ball just happened to be right in front of her, and she went for it.
Yep.
Full court pressure put on by Shearer on Anaya James.
Well, Shearer really quieted in this second half here to start.
And no points. In fact, I don't think she has a shot yet as Elliott, tough shot around Fowler. Got bodied up and gets it to go.
Well, credit Pacific, they're hanging around by getting quality shots, playing with a lot of confidence, playing physical.
Elliott with 6 points and 7 rebounds now. Fowler double teamed, had it poked away, finds Lindsay, over to Burnham. She hit 4 of them the other night. Oh, halfway down and out.
Nice inside out look there by the Pilots. That's a good shot for Burnham.
Mind you, on this streak that Pacific has been on, winners of 5 of their last 6, Liz Smith has hit double digits in 10 straight games, and yet she only has 2 points right now, and we're in the final minute of the third quarter.
I think Portland's done a nice job of, once she's given the ball up, she's not gotten it back. And just, again, first half a little bit in foul trouble.
First 3 put up by Fowler. That got the bottom of the net. It'll go out of bounds, and Tiger basketball Burnham was looking at the referee, Deion Lewis, looking for a foul there as she was on the ground.
Yeah, I didn't, the two of them got tangled up somehow, but.
I didn't really see too much right there. Good no call.
Yeah.
So we kept talking about the Pilots' runs as of late, but it's actually Pacific now on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes to cut into this lead for Portland, and that's a travel.
Well, unfortunate, last 2 times down the floor, turnovers for Pacific, but they are, you're right, their 7-0 run in that 2-minute stretch there has pulled them within 7. And that's exactly where you want to be going into the fourth quarter, single digits, giving yourself a chance.
Despite those turnovers, Pacific has hit their last 5 shots from the field. Portland, meanwhile, hasn't had a basket in 2.5 minutes.
Another turnover.
And Liz Smith was not paying attention. Kelsey Lindsay was for the steal. The feed to Shearer. And Shearer now has 12 points after the assist from Lindsay. Just a mental mistake right there by the Tigers as a foul called on Lindsay. That'll be her first, the team's 3rd. But Liz Smith was not paying attention. It looked like the passer noticed it last second and left it floating.
Yep, turned her head, and all of a sudden it's one you'd want to take back, but can't.
So that 7-0 run now neutralized by that last basket by Shearer, but it's 3 turnovers in the last 90 seconds for Pacific. Smith puts up the 3, off balance, rebound Elliott, and she gets fouled. 2.2 left to go in the quarter as Elliott gets her 8th rebound of this game, and Shearer gets called for the foul.
Well, good job by Elliott again, crashing the glass there, kind of a probably ill-advised shot. I'd like to see her take her off the bounce a little bit by Smith and get yourself to the paint.
Elliott, the sophomore from Inglewood, California, the former WCC all-freshman team member last year, makes the free throw. She's averaging 8.6 points per game. She now has 7 points to go along with 8 rebounds tonight. And she goes 2 for 2. And now with 8 points, 8 rebounds. And that will end the quarter. No shot, and the Pilots have a 7-point lead, 36-43 over the Tigers right now as we head to the fourth quarter. It's the steal from Lindsay and the basket by Shearer that keep the Pilots up. We'll be right back. There. Some of the Pilot fans in the stands today for our doubleheader. As the Pilots currently lead Pacific 43-36 at the start of this fourth quarter. And, you know, looking at the box score right now in this game, not a lot of second chance points between these two teams. Only 2 apiece right now, but points in the paint has sort of really favored Portland right now, and that almost seems to be the difference as they lead that category by 8.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I mean, we've talked about it, just both teams really struggling from the floor at times, scoring droughts, a little bit of a, you know, a little chess game, trying to get used to the officials, not real clean game.
Both teams had separate 7-0 runs. It wasn't planned that way, but that assist will go to Fowler with a tip over to Burnham. An interesting sequence of play right there.
Not by design.
Deaton's pass off the hands of Elliott. The frustration on her face leads to another turnover. And now they go over their season high. That's 17 turnovers, excuse me, seasonal average of 16, now with 17 turnovers.
And I think Deaton just needs to shoot that.
It seems like there's been a couple of shots where Pacific could have taken it a little bit earlier. They tried to go for the extra pass.
I think Elliott thought she was going to shoot it, and that's why she wasn't ready for it.
Fowler, the frustration right there.
Yeah, a couple shots, you know, have pretty much missed everything, and just not typical of Alex Fowler for sure, having a little bit of a slow night. 10 points right now in the game.
Yeah, to go along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. Smith pass to Deaton, jump stop, and off the glass, no good. And I think Lindsay will get called for the foul. We'll see what the referees say, and they do say it's on Lindsay. That'll be her second, team's first of this quarter.
Trying to make something happen there on that weak side board, and obviously had a height disadvantage, so she just went in swinging.
Fowler, Frawley, and Shearer will head to the bench. It's Meek, Cochran, and Bruno. And actually, you know what? Lindsay will head to the bench too. James able to find Smith. And this has been a good matchup on the block. Elliott and Cochran, and the 5th block by Cochran now ties her for 4th all-time in program history. And that ball will go to the Pilots. Look at this denial right here. Absolutely not. We're not going to allow that one. Maybe that's why Deaton didn't let go of that last shot, huh?
Yeah, and Coach Davis not happy with the contact there at the end of that play. I kind of got blocked out a little bit with that, but
it's been a very physical game between these two.
Both teams really scrappy.
Pass inside to Burnham, got around Ashby, and hard fall on the court. Ashby will be called for the foul. That'll be her first.
I'd like to see Burnham catch that and just go with her left hand, not bring that ball to the inside. Better chance of finishing right there. But nonetheless, at the free throw line with the foul.
Burnham's first free throw attempts in this game. She hits the first one. Burnham, a 77.6% free throw shooter, averaging 11 points on the season. As she now has 8 points after making both free throws. You know, this team doesn't bring in a whole bunch of transfers, but Maisie Burnham has certainly been a bright spot from the transfer portal, the former Big Sky Freshman of the Year a few seasons ago, but really adding a scoring spark and a defensive spark as well. Frawley fighting for the loose ball, and I think she's going to get called for the foul. It did look like she put hands on Ashby as she was trying to get that ball.
Yeah, nice anticipation of, you know, getting a deflection right there, but yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, you see it from that angle. That's a tough one, but I think you're right. She kind of had a hand on her back.
Shearer back on the court for Burnham.
You know, you go back to Burnham. I mean, last year kind of a role player, came in off the bench. This year starts and just has added huge dimension, especially offensively, to this team.
I think one thing that Pilot struggled with last year was their actual three-point shooting and shooting away from the basket. And she's added the three-point shot to her repertoire this year and really made it a part of her offense.
And looking for it more,
Yes.
you know. That's the biggest thing. And
Ward.
good up fake.
Yeah, bites on the fake. Bruno picks up her dribble, had it poked away. Pilots can slow things down, 15 on the shot clock. Shearer against Ashby, corner to Frawley. The three goes up and it falls. Frawley's got 8 points.
I'll tell you, she's had a really solid night. Maybe mom's in town and
8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for Frawley.
great job of just getting her feet set and then letting it fly.
Catch and shoot as Meek gets called for the foul. That'll be her second personal in this game, the 13th foul in the fourth quarter for the Pilots. And Pacific right now has not scored any points in this quarter as we're closing in on 3 minutes in the fourth.
Well, and if you're Pacific, you can't have too many possessions.
Great steal by Frawley right there.
Where you go empty-handed.
Bruno tried to pull up and denied by Anaya James. James has now set a new career high in blocks with 3, but Bruno gets the best of her right there as she now has 6 points.
Nice job of continuing to work down low by Bruno, and Cochran found her for the easy layup.
Ashby, we're so used to seeing that from Haley Andrews.
Yeah.
And another Aussie takes it to the basket.
They love the step through.
Ashby now with 8 points and 4 rebounds.
Little Euro step.
Bruno going baseline, picks up her dribble, finds Cochran in the paint. Double teamed, and we've got a jump ball called. And it'll go towards Pacific on the jump ball.
That's a tough one. I mean, I feel like that was a foul. Just, as soon as she caught it, she got hit.
Ennis checks in with her 3 fouls. Holmberg goes back to the bench. James will go to the bench, and coming back on the floor is Deaton for Pacific.
I don't see James being out too long. I mean, the one kid that's really hit from the outside.
Yeah, she's the only one that's made a 3-point shot for Pacific today. She's hit 2 of them. And with your team down by 14 at the moment, you would hope to get some success from the 3-point line. You'd want her back out on the floor.
Yep.
12 on the shot clock. Meek trying to get around Ashby. Gets the handoff from Cochran. Both defenders backed off. It's back iron, rebound Frawley. Tried to go back up with it. No foul called. Got some fans courtside not happy with the no call. Shearer trying to deny the entry pass. And a block by Cochran. 6 blocks today, and she now moves into 4th place all time on the block list here at the University of Portland. And another air ball from the Pilots. Shearer saying it was tipped. Meek is saying it was tipped, and now we got a referee saying it's Pilot basketball. They're going to converse right here, and they're going to say it's Pacific basketball now.
It looked like it got tipped. I mean, normally she doesn't shoot the ball that short, but again, maybe a little too quick.
And for the Pilots, number 32,
Kelsey Lindsay and Maisie Burnham check in. Meek and Shearer to the bench. Here, we'll get a look at it right here.
Oh, that ball was, it was tipped before she let go.
Yeah.
So that's a good call.
Referee's getting it right there.
Yep.
Good job by them, too, to come up and talk it out. Smith, who has not scored outside the free throw line, and it ends up in a turnover and another jump ball. This time it'll go with the Pilots.
And that's when I think Smith's got to shoot. I mean, she gets herself to the paint, creates off the dribble. Instead of making that extra pass, just shoot that little floater.
And she's 0 for 3 from the floor. All 3 shots came in this half so far. Again, she only played 6 minutes in that first half due to picking up 2 quick fouls. Burnham trying to go behind the back, and Deaton gets called for the foul. That'll be her 3rd personal and the 2nd one in this quarter for Pacific.
Second team foul. Returning for the Pilots, number 12, Alex Fowler for Keely Frawley.
Frawley to the bench, Fowler back on the court. Frawley 8 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists on senior day.
Yeah, she's had a nice game. Both ends of the floor.
Under 5 left in this game. Kaitu'u's cut off and a charge called. Great play by Sam Ashby.
Yep. Ashby's impressed me today. I mean, she's done some really nice things. Plays really hard, both ends of the floor. That's just high IQ right there. Steps over and takes one.
Yeah, you saw Burnham come off the block right there, and Ashby just slid over and takes the charge.
Yep.
14-point lead for the Pilots, 52-38. Under 5 minutes left to go in Senior Day inside the Child Center. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. The defensive play is just different when she's out on the court, and it's Lucy Cochran. You see her on the bench right there. 6 blocks, 4 points, and that last block she had puts her 4th all-time in program history with 156 career blocks.
Just terrific timing, and I mean, the rim protection that she provides just with that right there. It's not only does she block shots, she alters shots.
You're right. She doesn't even have to make contact. We've seen so many players basically change how they shoot the ball with her right in front of them. Kaitu'u looked like that one's partially blocked.
Yeah, I think Holmberg got a piece of that.
Lindsay tried to take that charge late, and she was in the restricted area. And that's an easy call for the referee as Lindsay picks up her 3rd foul. Portland has been struggling as of late. Haven't hit a basket in their last 4 attempts, and they have not scored in nearly 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I think, you know, people in the stands just don't understand that if you are in that restricted circle, whether you are set or not, it is an automatic block. And she had, you know, kind of a...
She sort of backpedaled in there.
I think she originally was outside of it, but stepped back.
Ashby now takes over as the leading scorer with 10 points after those free throws. She's got 5 rebounds to go along with it.
Well, if you're Portland, you don't want to take your foot off the gas here. You need to keep going, get quality looks. You know, 12-point game with 4 minutes to go, just over 4 minutes to go. You got to get good looks.
Kaitu'u double team. Fowler kicks it to Lindsay for the 3. All iron, and a big rebound by Burnham. She was met by Anaya James, last touch by Portland, and no foul called or anything like that. It'll be Pacific basketball. The Pilot fans are not happy. Even Coach Meek is giving an earful to the referee on his side of the court right now.
Yeah, that's a foul.
Yeah, no call though. So a 12-point lead for Portland. Smith double teamed, tried to bounce the pass away, and Lindsay came up with it, and I think Anaya James is about to be called for a foul. She is. That'll be her first. And the 3rd team foul on Pacific in this quarter. And you can see the frustration right now on Coach Davis's face. Hand on the forehead, not happy with that last play.
No, I mean, Smith got herself caught on that sideline and tried to throw it off, like you said, but again, another turnover.
That's 21 now in the game for Pacific. Spin inside, Fowler in trouble. Smartly gets out of the paint to avoid the 3-second call. Lindsay sidesteps the defender. No good on the 3-point play.
Good job by Bruno again on the weak side board, crashing to give them another opportunity.
Kaitu double teamed, had it slapped away. Honestly, looked like her arm got hit right there. Could have been called a foul.
I agree.
So the third turnover in the last 3 minutes and 45 seconds for Portland. And the Tigers can't capitalize.
Yeah, neither team able to score the basketball.
And that'll end a 4-minute drought for Portland as Bruno hits the three. She's got 9 points. And I think they're actually going to take a look to see if her foot was on the line.
Last play is under video.
So we'll see if it's a 3 or a 2 when they come back from the monitor. Now, I did notice in some of the warm-up shots she was taking today, that subtle 2 steps right there just before she shoots. And that's clearly a 3. She's behind it by a good couple of inches right there.
Yep, that'll be a quick one.
So Bruno, 9 points, 3 of 4 shooting, 2 for 2 from the free throw line to go along with 5 rebounds. She'll have to be careful though in the final just under 3 minutes. She does have 4 personal fouls as one of the better defenders for Portland. You have this lead, you don't have to pressure too much, but you want to stay in front of them.
You want to keep the ball in front, like you said. Continue to put the pressure, but do not get beat in rotations where you're giving up, you know, quick ones or open threes in transition.
21 turnovers for Pacific today, and yet they find themselves within 15, a game that could certainly be well out of hand, but credit Pacific. They've played some tough defense as well. They have not made it easy for Portland on their home court.
After video review, that last basket was a 3-point basket by...
Well, I feel like every time that they've made a run and, you know, kind of pulled themselves, they've turned the ball over almost immediately. And live ball turnovers, which gives, you know, Portland a chance to...
Liana Kaitu called for that foul.
Number 23, Liana Kaitu, her third.
And that will send Pacific to the line. So Pacific has not had a field goal in almost 4 minutes, and you have to think this sort of plays in their favor. You stop the clock, you can be able to get a couple of points here. Maybe you make a defensive stop again.
Well, the best time to score points for them right now is with the clock stopped.
Ward makes her first free throw. She now has 5 points. She'll go 2 for 2 from the stripe. So 13-point lead for Portland. Quick pass to Fowler. Up to Bruno, and they're across the timeline.
That's the thing. I mean, you have Fowler taking the ball out, handling the ball. I mean, she does everything, and that's why she's such a tough matchup. Leads the press, can go in transition.
Bruno inside, kicks it to Kaitu, bit high for her, but she's able to corral it. 3 on the shot clock. Frawley has to do something with it. Lindsay blocked by Ashby, and that will be a shot clock violation. That's happened a couple of times to Portland today. Late in the shot clock, having to just throw something up, and Pacific was ready for it.
One of the things that they're doing is waiting for an on ball kind of late in the shot clock, and when you got 5 seconds left, you got to go and create on your own. It's just too much time to set an on ball there.
17 turnovers now for Portland as James, the floater over Kaitu. Smooth shot right there. She's got 10 points.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she has not looked to do that a little more often, because when she's wanted to get by somebody, she has been really successful and gotten good looks.
Pacific within 11 now. They've done a good job. Portland just 1 of 8, or 1 of their last 8 from the field, I should say. 4 turnovers in about 5 minutes. So the defense is amped up, and a reach-in foul, looks like, by James. And that will be her second, and the 4th team foul. That almost looked clean, but you saw a little bit at the end there.
Yeah, that was close. That was really close.
Bruno checks out. Shearer in the game. So about 90 seconds left in this one. Ward trying to get a steal on Fowler. Ward will be called for the foul. Her first, team's 5th, which means Fowler should be going to the line for a couple of free throws. She's 2 for 3 today with 10 points and 5 rebounds. Makes that free throw.
Yeah, hasn't had a ton of looks today. Pacific did a nice job of making her give it up.
And even when she's had looks, it's hard to call them looks. Even being double teamed and underneath the basket, they're just not easy shots.
Exactly.
As Kai Tu'u checks out for what could be her final time in a Pilot uniform at the Child Center, the tears are starting to flow as she's getting hugs from her teammates. A terrific career for her on the Bluff.
Came back from injury and kind of has just worked herself back and just doing a terrific job of coming in and giving them huge minutes.
Frawley with another rebound. She's got 8 points, 8 rebounds now.
Little substitution only here.
Yep. And Mikkel Meek will check in for Kelsey Lindsay, and now we're going to start to see these players come off the court and get their respective and deserving standing ovation as Kelsey Lindsay leaves the floor inside the Child Center for her last time in a Pilot uniform.
She's done a nice job. You know, she really, in the beginning when Andrews was out, you know, with last year's ACL, she really ran the point for a majority of that preseason, and she's more of a shooting guard and did a nice job.
Final minute of play as Shearer attacks the basket, and strong on that shot. Ward comes down with it. But you're right, Lindsay stepped up her game as the point guard for this team with the absence of Haley Andrews as Meek chases down that rebound. And Malika Samia will check in, and Keely Frawley. It's her turn to get some love from the fans. I mean, there's not much you can really say other than it's been a terrific senior group for this Pilots team, and we've been fortunate enough to watch them play over the last few years as Emma Streeline checks in and Alex Fowler, one of the all-time greats, checks out for Portland.
Well, I'm hoping that that's not her last performance in this gym.
She does have the opportunity to come back if she would like. As Shearer gets across the timeline with a couple of seconds to spare. The hugs being dished out on the bench right now for Portland. Spin move by Shearer, she lost it. Elliott gets it for Pacific. And Streeline can't end up with it. Smith, the pass up to Ashby. And that'll be another basket for Ashby. She's got 12 points. Final seconds ticking off. Streeline with it. And that's going to do it. A win for the final home game for these seniors. 57-46. The Pilots take it over the Pacific Tigers.
Well, I would then to say that, you know, not the cleanest game for either squad, but, you know, Portland doing what they needed to do to get this win, and again, propel themselves going into the final weekend, have put themselves in a great position with that automatic bye into Monday in the WCC tournament, with a lot of movement still coming in the next week.
Well, they've got 2 more games left as they head on the road for the final 2 games of the season. And they're going to be tough ones. BYU's not an easy game, and neither is San Diego. They always play the Pilots tough, but business is not finished yet for the Pilots. They know what they need to do. Even though they have that 2 seed, they're not going to end on a low note.
And, you know, there's so many things that can happen if Gonzaga drops one, because they're going on the same road trip. You know, you just don't know what can happen. And USD right now is in 3rd place by themselves at 10-6 after today's win. And anything can happen in this conference, and I think right now is, you know, Coach Meek, take care of ourselves, do what we do. That's a message, but I know that he would love to have a chance at that title.
And now we have a chance to talk with Alex Fowler. Alex, you had a great game. It's graduation day inside the Child Center. What does this victory mean for you and that squad right now?
I mean, it's really huge for us. It's a great way to end for us seniors. You know, we've been here for the last 4 years. We were there for the first year with that dream team. It's a really great feeling to get the win on our home court in the last night with all our families here. We got a lot of Australian families here, which is really nice too.
Yeah, we noticed we have a lot of parents in the stands and a lot of emotion. I love it. Just talk about the game real quick. I mean, we take away the senior day, senior night. I would not say that you was your best performance, but you know, you guys have one big week left with a chance at a title, depending on what happens, but a big road trip next week. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, next week is a huge road trip for us. I mean, obviously it's nice that we got the second spot secured for the WCC tournament, but at the end of the day, we still want to get the momentum going heading into the WCC tournament. So San Diego and BYU are great teams. They've been playing really well, so they're going to be two tough road wins to get. So yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say it because I think I'm gonna see you play in this gym again in this uniform. But best of luck to you guys. Obviously, that second seed is sealed, but let's go for that conference title.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Alex, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck the rest of the season. We'll be cheering for you.
Thank you.
And that was Alex Fowler as she finishes what Jen just said, hopefully not her last time on this floor, but she'll end this season on this floor with a victory. And she finishes with 12 points and 5 rebounds, and the Pilots finish the home season with a victory. And not only that, they have now tied their conference record for most wins in conference with 14. They have a chance to beat that on the road in the next week. I'm Brian Slyke. That was Jennifer Mountain, and thank you to the production crew upstairs. Don't go anywhere. We've got the second half of our home doubleheader in just about 40 minutes.